In this video, let's take a look at the content block options. Same as before, we just hover over the block. Right in the upper right hand corner, click the Options button, and they'll appear down here. So the first thing that we want to talk about is that the content block is very versatile. Depending on the default mode or the mode that you have selected as far as query mode goes, you have a lot of different control over it. So the default mode or default behavior, when that's selected, it's going to entirely depend on what type of page you're on for your site. So if we look at our site outside of the visual editor for a minute, you can see that right now we're on our blog index page. And our blog index page is just going to show a certain number of posts. Now if we click on a link to a post, so we actually go to, say, the single post page, you can see here that now that content block is showing just a single post, and it's showing the comments. This is because of the default behavior for the content block. If you wanted to switch this mode to custom query, you could do so. Now the custom query, you're going to have to select query filters. So you're going to have to change some various filters here. Before we get into that, I'm going to move this back to default behavior. I'm just going to go to display. So for display, you've got things like your above content post meta and your below content post meta. And these are just boxes, little text areas that allow you to put various content in. So you could put in some text, or you could put in some special code, so to speak, that allows the certain date to come up, or an author to come up, or that kind of stuff. There's a list out on the WordPress Codex for that. When you've got things looking right, you can move over to below content, and we could add, say, filed under our categories, and so it'll list the categories out. We could also do another line, and actually I think I need to do a, and we could say tags, and then we could just say tags like that. So that way anytime we also have tags listed, our tags will show up there. You can also change the date format displayed. So you can use the WordPress default date. You can switch it to kind of be the full date where it says November 27th, 2011. You can do month, date, year format. You can do day, month, year. You can do short code. But you've got a lot of different date formats here to choose from. Then you've got your comment format. So if there's more than one comment, this number is going to count all the comments up, and it's going to say 6 comments or 5 comments. And if you've got one comment, it's just going to say 1 comment. If you have 0 comments, it'll say 0 comments. You've got respond format. So if we go down a little bit, you can put in your reply somewhere. So you can leave a link that says leave a comment or make a comment. And then you've got your edit link formats to edit the post, and that just gives you that edit link. Query filters, a little bit more information, but this is considering the Headway loop into effect. And what we do want to warn you is that these query filters aren't actually going to work unless you change the mode to custom query under the mode tab. But you can do things like fetch pages. So if you wanted your content block, or you wanted to lay out a page that showed very different content areas, you could create page content and then display that content in various blocks on the page. If you leave this as do not fetch, though, you're going to have just post content show up. For post content, you've got things like limiting your categories, so you can include and select your categories you want to include, or you could exclude, and that's what this categories mode is. So if you have include selected over here, anything that you select like that, and if you hold down Command on the Mac or Control on Windows, you could select your multiple categories. And then once you've done that, you can see here that this one was selected. We can choose to include or exclude those categories. You've also got post type. So if you have custom post types, those will be listed here, as well as the WordPress defaults, post and media. Pages is also a post type, but the way that the loop works doesn't allow you to give a list of those pages very easily. You can also select the author that you want. So if you want just one author to show up, or you want multiple authors to show up, you can select those from this list. The number of posts allow you to limit the posts on a page. So if you want only 5, you could change that number to 5. Featured posts is what gives you the full content of the post. In this case, we might want to have 2 of our posts be those featured posts. Next, you might want to decide to not paginate posts. So you can uncheck the paginate posts checkbox so that it does not paginate the posts. You can also offset your posts, and what offsetting does is it takes a look at the order of your posts, which is the last option for descending or ascending, and the order by date or title or random or by an ID, whatever that case is. It's going to look at these, and after it takes into account all of these settings, it's going to offset your post, meaning instead of showing, say, the first post or the second post, it might show the third post or the fourth post. You just choose the offset that you want, and it'll show it that way. Finally, we've got our config area. And in an earlier video, I gave this block alias a home content so that I know what this block is, so that I could mirror it to another block later on. If I wanted to add any custom classes, we could do that here as well. I'm just going to go ahead and save.